Alright guys, here we go. Another video. Little bit off topic. Um, do we know that term industry plant? You know, so writing clean code, jumping on the latest framework, jumping on AI bandwagon, jumping on this and that, everything latest, all the new trends. You know, um, all the stupid things you can find. Something as a programmer you look at it and you're like, what this is just totally out of proportion. It makes no sense. How the heck does this thing become so big suddenly? And as a programmer, as an experienced person, it kind of bugs you because you're like, okay, this technology people have been using, for example, let's say Python. People have been using Python for very long. It kind of Python kind of blew up recently, but people have been using it. It has solid foundation. It's been there for a while, so there is no debate with that. But if you pick something really latest, like a front end framework that comes out every week and it just blows up, and you go to Twitter and all you see is people talking about this HTML framework, you know, and how this is so amazing, how this is so superior to React, how is this so much better than Angular, or how this backend technology is so much better, all these things is just these are just blown out of proportions. They might have good use, but like a framework that's been there for a while, people have been contributing to this framework, they have done so much work, on this. They have fixed bugs non-stop, they have put thought into it. Now suddenly your new framework is way better than that one, the new framework you just built in 2 weeks. This is crazy. um and like, look, I, I guess the point is, clean code is the same thing. Okay, there is some truth to it. Like, when people tell you, write code, make it self-explanatory, a code should be able to explain itself. Yes, it should be able to do that. But when you got million lines of code, and this, you change this, and then that changes that, and then you change something here, it changes the state of the whole object, and you don't know what's going on, things are out of the place. There is so much business logic baked into little snippet. Like, if you showed this custom algorithm to someone, to a programmer, they wouldn't understand what the hell is going on because they were never seen it before. So clean code just goes out of the window when things like this start to happen, because you got the deadlines, you got the client crying in the emails, you got stakeholders sending rubbish emails. Then as a developer, it just comes down on you. Ultimately, you're the person who's actually doing the work, right? So it comes down on you. And writing clean code is an art, and yeah, there is things to make it work, but ultimately there's so much business logic in single, like a lot of times in single line. And if you don't document that, the new developer, when they work on it, they're gonna lose. They're not gonna understand what's going on here. you know and I thought it was common sense. And making it worse, there is another advice. Your function's name should explain what the function is going to do. Yes, it can explain the function is going to do. And you should keep the function small. Yes, that's fine. We should keep the function small so we can test them, right? But in real life, when you're building complicated software, right? Um, Things get complicated and you can't always move things around. Moving things around means making it more complicated. Keeping things together means when a new developer looks at it, they can make sense. They know everything is just here. This is what I need to worry about, not like 50 different functions that you refactor for no reason. So clean code goes out of the window. Leaving comments becomes so important. This is why when you pay attention to a piece of code and you're like, okay, I had to chase the project manager had to chase the client, and then the client had to have their internal discussion, and then they come back with whatever, however they want this thing to work. That insight is gonna sit on Jira, it's gonna sit on project manager mind, but it should also sit somewhere in the code, right? Because project manager is not going to run your code. Project manager is not going to always be standing next to you and telling you, oh, this function does that, none of that. So you need that documentation. So commenting code becomes so important, right? And I honestly this is kind of become a rant, but like, I have so much trouble with people who just say, oh, write self-explanatory code. I've been coding for 8 years now, and the most complicated code I have seen contains so many comments, you know, because if you want to onboard a new developer quickly, you have to show them how little things work. A lot, otherwise, they'll go to the code, they'll make changes, they will write the tests, they'll merge it in the 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 git actions, whatever, you know, whatever is checking the code. It'll check the code out. It'll run the worker. It'll make sure it has tests. It'll make sure it follows the standards. It'll make sure it doesn't have any syntax errors and all these sort of things. Um, but then what? You know, it'll then it goes further into another branch, and then the senior developer reviews it, and they're like, that's wrong. Why is it wrong? Well, because it has this, and this problem. And then, so the junior or other developers, not even junior, other senior developers ask, oh, so what's wrong with this? Oh, what's wrong with this? Is this, and this? You should not have done it this way. And then the other senior developer asks, why have you not done? Why, like, well, it just kind of gets deep, you know, questions back and forth. This could have all be avoided if you just left the comment in the code explaining what this is doing. And this applies to a lot of code, you know, a lot of code, these things apply. A lot of time things are obvious, and if they're obvious, you don't need to leave a comment, right? But the amount of knowledge you hold here, because you've been working on something for a couple of years, this needs to be documented, not just outside, you know. It needs to be documented in the code itself, because that's what developers look at when they're writing. So I don't know what you guys think. Really, clean code is kind of big thing, and we should, yeah, definitely use object-oriented programming. We should try to make it modular, to write, make it clean, make it extensible. So if you can easily make changes without breaking other things, we should do all that. We should apply design practices where we can. But what do you guys think anyway?